So, my name is Ximena Quinteros. I am from Bolivia. I am living in Zurich since more than 2 years. My passion is to work with art and shamanism since many years, since more than 20 years that I dedicate my life to this path. I had amazing callings for this reality since I am a child. So I was more and more reconnecting with that truth and going in that rediscovering or reminiscencia, we say in Spanish. I don't know if that word exists in English. But well, this is to remind what you already know. So yeah, I feel a bit surprised in my life to realize how the resonances were always taking me to different steps and different situations in my life and different teachings and really higher dimension of understanding of how life is and how situations are here to teach you to become stronger, to face weakness and to heal. I remember when I was deciding to take the path of the spirituality more seriously. I was around 17 years old, and the spirit of the cactus Huachuma, that was always a plant that was close to where I live, San Pedro, it was flowering again with these white amazing flowers that always come, and it was the spirit of this plant that was calling me to join. And without having so much knowledge about it, I could feel this very deep connection with this plant. And since then, I was starting to work in my process of sacred plants and shamanism, sharing with many tribes and people from Quechua, Aymara, from my land, from Bolivia, in Peru also Quechua, Shipibo, and in Colombia, Kamsa, the tribe of the jaguar. I was also sharing with Lakotas and Cherokees, and I had also the pleasure to meet some people from the tribe Yanawana. But my biggest master is a woman, a Shipibo woman, Asencia. I feel really connected with her. Well, this is a little bit of my experience with the shamanism. And in the artwork, I was working when I was 19 years old with Ernest Fuchs in Monaco. That was the most amazing opportunity that I could ever experience, because I never imagined to meet an artist of that level. But also life was bringing me in different situations, and I finished being and I was ending being her apprentice for more than 1 year. And this was an amazing opportunity to share and to have some guidance and some of the discipline of one of the biggest masters in fantastic realism. And finally I was finding, let's say, my line of art, because mostly of the time people was telling me which type of art do you do, and I couldn't really say something because we have all these other names of the art that was already explored, and I was not fitting in that scene. I was more working with symbolism and with alchemy and different essence and textures and crystals and a lot of symbology of tarot and different things. So it was very interesting journey that I was going through. And when I meet Ernest Fuchs, I could see that he was also using all these symbols too. So it was a good way to reconnect with that truth and see that we have this in common and feel these tokens, deep tokens about spirit and the universe and how small our nature is compared to the macrocosmos. It was something beautiful, something that I always keep in my heart. Well, since 2 years I am living here in Zurich, and it was also another journey that maybe I will try to talk a little bit more about this journey, because that's why also I am in front of the screen right now. Most of my life I was always having a lot of shame to try to show myself, to stand for myself, for my truth. I am coming from a society where the woman is suppressed, and most of the time we struggle to be in our power because of the society, the familiar limitations, and all these things that are sometimes a heavy weight to hold. But with all these years working in this life and having these experiences, I now feel more free to be here and to stand for who I am. So, 2 years ago, when I arrived here to Zurich, 5 months later, I had the opportunity to share my medicine and introduce myself here finally in a festival, Pachamama Festival. And I was going to make 5 sweat lodge ceremonies in that time. I was super excited to go, to be there, to share my experience, to meet people, because when you are here from other country, you don't know so many people, and Zurich is not exactly the most sociable place. Okay, so I was taking this like the biggest opportunity, so I really wanted to go there, make my sweat lodge, offer my ceremonies, show myself, and I was losing sensation in my left leg, in my right leg, sorry. And this was something strange, and at the same time, like when you work with plants or healing, you also try to see the meaning behind of the things. So I was feeling a little bit frustrated, because this is the leg where you give the first step to empower yourself, to stand for your truth, to all this, and it's also connected with the masculine. In that time, I was married. My marriage was very short. I just arrived to spend 1 year married. I'm happy for it, no more. But in that time, I was married, and this man, my ex-husband, he was feeling really triggered when I was going to this festival, and I was feeling a lot of pain. I create my sweat lodge. I was sharing these 5 days with a lot of excitement. I was super happy to talk about, to share the prayer, and to talk about the traditions from my land, and this combination of the teachings that I was receiving and sharing this to Europe. You know, it's really, really special to bring these words that were touching your heart into different scenes and see how we can connect from the vulnerability. So I was super excited, and it was like my moment. But my leg was starting to be more and more numb, and at the end of the festival, the left leg started to have this numbness too. And in 5 days, I had no feeling till my hips. It was the last day when the organizer from the festival, Daniel Hunziker, I remember still, he was stepping in my feet, and I was not realizing till I wanted to move, and I could see that he was standing on my feet. Then I realized, okay, this is something hard. I don't feel my feet, my foot. So, well, I'm sorry, my English is not so well. It's not my main language, but I am just trying to share with you. So, it was super interesting, and when I went to the hospital to check and find out what is going on, I thought that a chiropractor will come and just fix some nerves and that's it, but it was not. He told me it's a question of hours that you will not walk again. And he said that they find out that I have a cavernoma in my spinal cord, and that my prognosis was to become tetraplegic. Coming back from Sweat Lodge, from ceremonies, from prayer to the spirit, I was in a pure crystal atmosphere inside of me. I was still vibrating with the drums and the songs that I was sharing with my good friend Stefan. And well, it was really a hard news for me to know that. And I didn't know what to do. At the same time, that day that they were going to do the surgery, it was the birthday of my oldest daughter, and it was our first year here in Switzerland. So I was feeling really sad that this was happening in that moment, and also sad that I just built my tent for offering my ceremonies, and now I am facing this situation, and maybe I will not walk again. This was more than 50% of the prognosis. And well, then I was just trying to relax, and when I wake up, the doctor came with a paper, and the paper was saying that I was agree that with this situation I will die or I will become tetraplegic. And I saw already the signature of my ex-husband there. So it was also a bit shocking, but what to do is how it is. So well, then I was signing to and taking the doctor by hand and just saying to him that I trust. And at the same time, I was fully on my trust and my prayer, integrating with the light spirit. And through these all experiences of multidimensional reality that you can explore with the plants and psychedelics, also with the meditation or with higher states of consciousness in dance or in ecstasies, you can relate with this light body somehow. So I was really aware of that light body during this moment, and I was really holding on into this truth to just be as strong as I could in my spirit. And I still remember how I was feeling a spiral of colors, and the drum, boom, 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 and an eagle flying, going all over this spiral. And when I realized it was my spinal cord, I was in completely trance. I felt to die again, and again. So many times I feel like dying, but well, this was one of the biggest ones. When I wake up, I was under the effect of opioids, so I was super happy. But little by little I was realizing how hard that was. The doctors came to me and asked me if I could move my feet, and I could, and they were super surprised because they didn't expect me to move anything. I was lucky. I was blessed. I am blessed. And I think that one of the biggest steps was to believe. And even after the surgery, the pain is amazing, and the doctors were telling me that I will be taking pills for my pain for the rest of my life. And they were already announcing me that I will be in wheelchair. And they have a lot of different things, like train you to go to the toilet and train you to stand for yourself or to arrive to your feet. It's not an easy thing, you know, and when you feel that from one day to another you have so much limitations in your daily life, it's hard. And being with 2 children also was super hard. So well, I really needed to be strong for everything, And I was just working with myself, trying to find the center and the strength. And in this time, my ex-husband was coming and treating me like shit in the hospital and telling me that it was better to find where to go afterwards. Of course, I didn't expect that from him, but it happened. So, well, what to do? Face the reality, nothing else we can do. But well, in this time I was also checking that, of course, you suffer, but I was checking for solutions and trying to just stand for my truth. And one of the things that I will always remember is that when I say to this man, I will never let someone push me down again. I will never let someone to tell me to don't go to dance when I want to dance. And I was telling him that I regret so many times I didn't want to dance. Now that I was feeling that maybe I will not walk again. And the only thing he could say, it was like, you are so selfish. You are not thinking about our daughter and to run after her. For me, it was a shock that a person cannot be empathetic or just see how it feels in the reality of other. But well, what to do? All these signs sometimes come into our lives to tell us, wake up and move forward or move away from all the situations that are causing frustration, victimism, pain, hurt, damage, submission. All these things is just signs to tell you where you want to go, what is the quality of life you want. First, we must honor this quality inside of ourselves. And this experience was really teaching me a lot about it. So I really feel that through all these journeys that I was going through, I can support other people. I am already working more than 20 years with shamanism. I was healing, well, I cannot say healing. This is a word we use, but I just feel more that we are creating the space to release what is toxic and what you don't need anymore, to stand in your power. That's my interpretation of the word healing, that you become your own hero too, from whatever it happened to your life, from whatever it was going through your body, physical body, emotional body, mental body, spiritual body. We can all relate with this, and I feel it's very important to really stand for your truth. And I am offering this journey. I am offering this service and this company when people feels that they are ready to do this. I have so many stories to share, but well, this is just an introduction of who I am, and I hope you enjoy this sharing, and I will connect you with you in the future. Aho, hayaya.